Hey guys, I'm gonna discuss your assignment. This is gonna be your project one, basically. Um, so it's not gonna be this per se, but you guys are actually gonna have a chance to design something. If you want to go pretty literal and find one that you want to replicate, that's fine. It'll be a little easier that way for you, I think, unless you pick something really intense. But what I want you to do is find a handrail to use as an example, and then we're going to diagram it, how we're going to build it in Grasshopper, and then we're going to build it. Okay? So I'd like you to take just like the first 15 minutes or so of class, so at like 7:20, I'd like you to arrive at a handrail that you want to start diagramming. And if you can get to a point where you've already started to diagram it, sure, but I'm going to walk through a diagrammatic process with you up here for my example, which is this one. But remember to keep it simple. Don't go into something that's like terribly complex, well, most of these are looking pretty simple, but where are the big glass ones? You know, like something like this is actually still pretty easy, but I don't want you to worry so much about the hardware. We're not going to get into that level of detail, which is why I picked something that was super simple. Like this is appropriate, right? You've got a handrail, and you've got guardrail panels, and then you have a guardrail itself. Okay, super simple. You guys can handle that, no problem. Okay, so do you have any questions on just selecting something? Okay, so spend a few minutes while I'm downloading some pictures to show you picking a system to model, and then we'll go right into it. Okay, guys, so I recorded the introduction to the assignment so that you can review it, and I'm adding this on to the back of it, but I want to walk through that diagrammatic process with you. So this is kind of heavily abstracted. Yours might be a little bit more analytical, but this is the kind of elegance that I want your diagrams to get to at some point. And it's still pretty simple. But basically, actually, this probably should be like blue or something like that. So let me switch this to blue and light blue. That did not go light blue, did it? Oh, that was the fill. Sorry. Let's do light blue. We're going to do blue. Okay, so that's like my starting one, so that's why it's a bolder color. We can play around with colors and stuff like that. But anyway, what I did with that is that's kind of my base point. And so there is no order necessarily to this one. Like you guys are going to start off by probably diagramming one section at a time, right? Like you're going to diagram the move that you're going to diagram this thing moving over to here, then moving up to here, and then you're going to do another move up to here, and then you're going to show the line in between. That's fine. There isn't really much of a diagram that I could do here for this rail, but I know that it's there, and I know that it has this thickness, so I sort of overlaid like a section on top of my elevation in a way. I overlaid a plan view cut over top of my section view elevation. So, but anyway, these are basically like datum circles that are showing where the original circles came from and where they go, right? So it's easy to tell that this is aligned to the center, and this one is aligned to the corner. Let me send this one to the back. Send it back. Boom. There. Now you can tell it's on the corner. So that's moving up from the corner. This rectangle is being constructed by creating a rectangle from one corner to the other if you want to go that route, which is what I showed you in Grasshopper. So once you get to a point where like you understand the geometrical relationships between the systems that you're trying to generate, you can start to create the sort of baselines and stuff that you're going to build your definition off of. So that is where this comes in. I had the rectangle I was trying to build. I knew I wanted it to be in the XY plane along this particular curve, but I want to show you a quick hint. I placed this point in Rhino, and I put it on that line. But if you don't have that point, there is a way to get that line. Or that point on that line. So let's go to curve and reference that. And the tool is under curve analysis, and it's called endpoints. this is curve analysis. So this has a start point and an end point, which you can see here in Rhino. So no matter which one I place this on, my rectangle is going to be tied to either that start point or this end point. Is that clear? So what's pretty cool about this is if I tie in the start point and the end point, you get two rectangles. What happens when you have two rectangles? Huh? You can loft it. Yeah, so now we don't have to do extrude, and we don't have to find the normal or select any sort of x-axis or anything like that. We just go to surface, freeform, go to loft, plug this in, get a cap holes, plug that in, and there you go, you've got it. So once I calibrate these to be a little bit more accurate, oh, you know what, let me create new ones. I'm going to say 0 is less than 2.00. Yes, I am recording it. Plug that into X, this into Y. Go like that far in the X direction, that far in the Y direction. It's kind of going the wrong direction. These are actually probably meant to be negative, so I'm going to switch these to negative values. Operators, negative, plug, plug, and plug, plug. Actually, this one should be positive. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so does that make sense? So like in my diagram, if I had an x-axis that went here, so let's kind of, whoops, that is a curve, not a line, or a circle. If I had an x-axis here, which is showing as green, I'm going to say send to back, and I had a y-axis here, which would be red. That's why I have, well actually technically this is the z-axis, so I could make that blue, but I'll leave it as green for now. But that's the z-axis, this is the y-axis, but if you look at it from the side, you'll see the green axis, which is the plane's x-axis, and then the plane's y-axis, or the green is the y, the red is the plane's x-axis. You're going to want to go positive in that direction and then negative in the y direction for this plane. So that's why I did that. Okay, so does that make sense? How that relates to the diagram? Are you starting to visualize how diagramming is going to help you build that whole overall construct? It's okay to say no, but okay. All right, cool. So I'm going to let you guys fiddle around with it for a little while. I'll be around to help you troubleshooting a couple of specific things that each of you are working on individually or as a group if I find that it applies to a lot of people. All right. So it's 8:15. This is kind of like a working session. It's like your first kind of long-term working session. So when I release class into working sessions, like feel free to take breaks when you need them and stuff, but I do expect you to kind of be, you know, trying this out. You're not working on design, and using your time wisely, because when I release you into work time like this is your time to ask questions. So, yeah, okay? Like, I'm here. I'm at your disposal, so use me.